All right, stretch your dominant arm because we're talking porn. All right, so let's start off with High School Fantasies. These are all from Vinegar Syndrome, by the way. Obviously, you know from the title. But High School Fantasies, starring Renee Bond from director James Bryan.
Get your finger out of there!
Yes, sir. Starting off with little Renee Bond, an adult actress who I've really grown to enjoy since I was introduced to her through Vinegar Syndrome's releases and my own.
Hi! You wanna go for a Coke?
So, released in 1974, High School Fantasies was written and directed by James Bryan under the pseudonym Morris Deal. If that name sounds familiar, Bryan also directed VSA release Hellriders, as well as Executioner Part 2 and Don't Go in the Woods. This was Bryan's first porno flick, with only a couple more following it up before he went into his more famous genre fare. Cinematography, which is pretty high up among the 70s fuck flicks I've seen, is credited to Bill Foster. But there's no other credits for that name. This was also an early turn from producer Damon Christian, who would go on to also produce Disco Lady and Hard Soap, Hard Soap. So, let's get into the plot.
Ooh, hello.
What do you want, Sleazy Michael?
I see you're talking about pornography without me. Naughty boy. Oh, don't worry, I'll just step in when need be. Like right now. This plot synopsis needs some sleaze. High School Fantasies is an obvious send-up of properties like Happy Days and American Graffiti. Oh, it spares no time getting to what the viewers are here for. Before the main title even pops up, we get sweaty, hairy 70s penetration in the 60s. Yep, it's a period piece, and I do like a good period piece. Of course, being a proper theatrical experience that doesn't want you to get off just yet, the early scene between Renee Bond's Mary Lou and her football player lover, appropriately named Moose, quickly transitions into our plot. Right off the bat, we learn that Mary Lou is actually meant to be attending homecoming with this loser, Freddie Collier. At least that's what he thinks. But she decides she needs some greased lightning instead. Which, I mean, the dude drinks warm Coke, so probably the better option. Anyway, Freddie wants a piece, but he's just too much of a prude to get down to business, despite plenty of opportunity.
Ball, anyone?
The film follows him trying to score a proper date with Mary Lou to the senior prom, so he can, well, get laid. Along the way, he'll find himself in plenty of shocking situations.
Boys,
Yes, ma'am.
rape is such a dirty word. And
Really?
love is such a beautiful thing.
Oh, the 70s. Who hurt you? Some unfortunate moments aside, there's quite a bit of fun humor spread throughout to help with distribution to drive-ins, making this a pretty entertaining lightweight comedy with fucking. Sure, some of the comedy involves some casual homophobia and a whole lot of talk about Spanish Fly, but, oh look, a butthole.
Hey, Mary Lou, come with us. Want a ride?
Aside from Bond, there are very few performers here that went on to do much else, which is kind of surprising. Larry Barnhouse, Tony Tony Massiotti, and basically everyone else do a pretty stellar job for such small filmographies. The one exception, as far as I can tell, is Rick Lutz, who plays Moose's fellow jock friend Buddy. Lutz had a very lucrative career in the 70s and was even briefly married to Renee Bond, which might be why he's here? I don't know. The sex is obviously shot soft-core with hardcore inserts added. Lots of undercarriage missionary shots.
Nothing gets me hotter than two tainted buttholes.
That said, there's also a heavy emphasis on the pretty thin narrative rather than the sex scenes, and while there are plenty of couplings in high school fantasies, they're rarely very long, in duration anyway. In fact, it doesn't seem like Brian is particularly interested in making porn. Even the final sex scene is basically not one. Instead, the film ends with a montage of some of the hardcore shots from throughout the runtime.
You are weird, Freddy.
So anyway, bonus materials. We get a video interview with James Bryan entitled Bathroom Graffiti. It's a whopping 23 minutes, and he talks inspiration for the film, the industry at the time, how Renee Bond got the film made, and the fact that she didn't want to do hardcore, which makes a lot of sense of some questions I had watching the movie, and kind of, I was like, she doesn't get slammed in the pussy. Anyway, that's just the first 6 minutes. He talks sweetened cum, turning softcore into hardcore, etc. It's like listening to Santa Claus talk about blowjobs. It's wonderful.
Oh, fuck. Santa Claus gets me hard.
Our one other extra beyond the ever-enticing original theatrical trailer is another 23-minute video interview with Damon Christian entitled Where Were You in '62? The audio is pretty shit for the first minute and a half. I think someone forgot to turn on the lav, maybe. But it's super informative. Considering the wealth of James Bryan films in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog, we should probably expect his other Renee Bond collaboration, Beach Blanket Bango, sooner rather than later. Although my understanding is that one's a little bit more of a tough get elements-wise. Bango shares many of the same cast and crew, so I'm assuming they were done back-to-back. Or front-to-back? Front-to-front? Whatever, let's move on. Oh, and it's really good. I like it. It's kind of dumb. I like it. Next up is the most recent double feature Peakorama release as of this review, released in January, Heavenly Desire and Taxi Girls. Two films from director Jakov Jacovi. Somehow his real name. How did that even happen? Of whose career Vinegar Syndrome has proclaimed these to be the best. They are, quote, slick, clever, and effortlessly entertaining films. Let's see about that.
Heavenly Desire stars Sika as Mary Lou, another one, who, if you're a fan like me, starts the film off just right. And she's a MILF.
Oh, you knows how I love you. Here, lay little Ralph over there for a while.
He sure is getting healthy. It's gonna be nice to have him pass on my name.
Weird. Anyway, the film opens in the days of the Old West, with Mary Lou and her baby daddy Ralph as two of the most well-groomed 19th century lovebirds I've ever seen. Anyway, they ain't long for this world. Ralph's too busy being cannon fodder for a very dumb joke. My favorite kind. About his bad eyesight. Luckily, that's not the end of the story, and Mary Lou and her fellow prostitute, Rosebud, played by Serena, are brought back from the dead by Lucifer here, accompanied by a rockin' original soundtrack.
Famous now, but it seems to be he lets you see just what you want to see, all your fantasies.
Anyway, he invites them to go with him to hell, but in order to do so, they must prove their badness by returning to their old whorehouse, which has been turned into a sorority house, where all good things go to Palm. There they must use their ghostly wiles to get these two virgins laid.
It's your job to make them fuck and like it.
While inadvertently driving Ralph's grandson Tom a bit bonkers.
Come back, where are you, man?
He's the only one capable of seeing them. Why? Because he wants to fuck his grandmother. Getting to it early, I see.
Anyway, this all seems a bit complicated for a setup to fuckings, but it's a real fun time and far more cohesive than High School Fantasies, partly because it seems more interested in being a proper fuck flick while also netting a few laughs in the process. If you like fisting, well, put up your dukes. This flick has one of the more imaginative lesbian three-ways I've seen.
It belongs in a museum.
Porn legend Jamie Gillis shows up briefly as a perverted landlord. Our two Virginist sorority chicks are played by Danny Williams and Hilary Summers, the former of whom didn't go on to anything else. Summers would go on to plenty more, including our other release on this disc. And that's called a segue.
Ooh, I once watched a hooker in the Netherlands fuck one of those.
Where Heavenly Desire ends with a real crowd pleaser, Taxi Girls opens with one after the cops round up a whole bunch of hookers who use their professional acumen to get out of jail.
The lovely and mysterious Nancy Suter stars as Tony, a hooker who just wants to find a proper job and get out of this draining career. Anyway, she finds work as a taxi driver.
Hey, I found it. I found it.
What?
I found it. I found it. I got it. What? Look, right here.
But it isn't long before she starts melding the two jobs together. You know, like a good businesswoman. Mike Ranger, who played one of the boyfriends in Heavenly Desire, here plays Tony's boss-turned-business rival, Teddy, while the one and only John Holmes shows up to, inject himself into the plot.
Along with a whole bunch of fucking, we also get Tony's interesting stand-up routine, and unfortunately, a really rapey sequence in which some cabbies get revenge for their lost fares. Which, you know, not my idea of a lighthearted comedy, but whatever.
I made it work.
That's so fucked up. This leads to a glorious moment of comeuppance that's not quite as applause-worthy as, say, the ending of The Naughty Victorians, but it's nonetheless a pretty solid finale with a great silly out for our heroine. Both films are restored in 2K from their original 35mm negatives, and we get a trailer for Heavenly Desire, but zilch otherwise. However, this is a wonderful double feature for fans of hardcore erotica. For me, Heavenly Desire is a little better and more entertaining beginning to end, but Taxi Girls was still a fun surprise. I actually kind of wish we'd gotten a bit more plot in that release, but there are some fun gags to make up for that, like this dude having to fuck a sex doll in the back of a cab.
I mean, she's juicy and tight. Don't knock her till you've knocked her.
So, Heavenly Desires, Hilary Summers stars alongside the one and only Lisa DeLille. In our next release, Swing Conrad's Frat House, continuing in our theme of wacky porno comedies. This one is super simple. It's an Animal House-esque frat comedy, of course, and basically just follows the exploits of a bunch of college boys looking to do anything and everything to have fun and get laid. This includes a pretty chuckle-worthy, borderline military operation to get into Lisa DeLille's aggressively tight shorts. I don't know why I keep saying it that way. And you can probably guess how that goes. It's all pretty inconsequential plot-wise, but really, that's the point. It's a lightweight series of gags to get us to the next fuck scene, and you know, it delivers on that front in spades. That's not to say there's no attempts at being more than a straight porno, and we get everything from like a dozen visually interesting locations for our characters to do the deed, to a car crash gag to ensure monotony never sets in. So if you're looking for some well-shot bone zoning amidst equally well-shot college hijinks, this 1979 cum waster should do the trick.
Ooh. And I'd be remiss to not point out that we get some grade A pussy slamming action courtesy of Lisa DeLille. Seriously, that shit gets the job done.
Thanks, Sleazy Michael. Aside from the trailer, our one extra is Joe Rubin conducting an audio interview with Sven Conrad, and although it is bare bones in presentation, it's a whopping 48 minutes long and should provide plenty of valuable information to vintage porn fans everywhere. So overall, not bad. Not what I would call a mandatory release, but certainly a title worth revisiting with the touch of history tucked in there for good luck. Also, Lisa de Lille is really good in this. So, and everybody's really good, honestly.
It works like a charm.
Yes.
So, we've caught up with the most recent erotic selections from Vinegar Syndrome, so let's dig into some notable titles from Vincent past.
Oh yeah, let's get hairy.
So, Taboo!
Paul, this is serious. What happened last night was entirely my fault. And I don't want you to feel any guilt about what I did to you.
Thought we did it together.
So, you know how when you log on to Pornhub or Xhamster or Dick and Vag Monthly, and you're just inundated with mother on son, father on daughter, whoops, I tripped and got my head stuck in the air fryer and now my stepchild is boning from the back action? Well, this is most certainly not a new trend, and it goes all the way back to the days when porno movies were still, well, films. This was 1980, the tail end of porn's golden age, and this film has plenty to show for itself. While Taboo was definitely not the first adult film to deal in, well, this taboo, it has gone down in history as ground zero for this uncomfortable subgenre. And it even spawned sequels, 3 of which are available through Vinegar Syndrome, while the remaining, Jesus Christ, there are 23 fucking perverts. This one opens with screen legend Kay Parker as Barbara, a somewhat conservative housewife, getting it on with her hubby.
He's promptly off to abandon her in favor of some younger, more adventurous tale. This leads to her looking for meaning. But life ain't letting up. She can't find a job that doesn't include wild sexual harassment. Her best friend is too horny to be helpful. My favorite. Her sex life is going nowhere fast.
Which, Kay Parker having trouble with men? Least believable part of the story by a long shot. Know what I'm saying, boys? Them tatas.
Anyway, she happens to have an aggressively handsome, well-hung son played by Mike Ranger. And well, you can imagine where the story goes with that. Son fucking. It goes to son fucking.
Taboo actually handles the subject matter with a little more class than you might think, considering the state of modern adult filmmaking. Well, at least as classy as mommy fucking can get. At first, director Curtis Stevens and his wife/screenwriter Helene Terry almost seem to play coy with the plot, delving briefly into our matriarch dipping her toes into the world of swingin' orgies, which only pushes her innermost desires to the surface by exposing her to the taboo lifestyle. This quickly leads to the main action, but even here, Stevens and Terry show a shocking amount of restraint, only getting to the main subject matter nearly an hour into the film, and treating it as the serious taboo that it is. Now, Vinegar Syndrome's 2016 transfer was built using 35mm vault elements, so it's not quite as pristine as many of their more recent offerings. However, it's totally usable, and when the camera operator can keep focus, the details are vivid and clear.
That guy Mike Ranger has a great cock.
You're not wrong. Taboo might put off some people before they even see it, but just because, yeah, that's some fucked up subject matter. But what's striking here, although no surprise for fans of the era, is that despite the plot being ludicrous, it's actually a pretty engaging drama. Just, you know, chock full of fucking. Speaking of which, fans of Parker and Ranger who have somehow not gotten to this one are in for a treat, as both are in top form here, and bottom form. And you know, it just kind of depends on the position, I guess.
It was lovely, though, holding my darling boy in my arms again. Just like when you were little.
Nope. Nope. Conflict. Now, how you feel about this one is really going to depend on how you handle some pretty fucked up material. It is a very fetishistic look at a very bad thing, and even seems to suggest that this kind of fling is a natural progression of being more open and free, albeit with consequences, leaving the future of Barbara's relationship with her son up in the air, although it does hint that things aren't going to change anytime soon, which, gross.
Yeah. Gross.
Well, guess I gotta buy the sequels to find out what happens next. Now, extras. Holy fucking shit, yes please. This release comes with 2 commentary tracks, both recorded for this release. One with John Rubin, Jesus Christ. One with Joe Rubin and Kay Parker, and one with Helene Terry, who also produced the film and collaborated extensively with Curdy Stevens, because they were married. But wait, there's more. We also get 2 archival tracks, one with Parker, Jesus Christ. One with Parker and the other one with Helene and Curdy, the latter of whom passed away in 2012 at the ripe old age of 92. There's also a 7-minute archival interview with Parker and a promotional stills gallery. So, this one, really solid release. Like, I don't even know if I have to tell you. 4 commentaries. I am in it, man. I am deep inside of that one. Despite the fact that it's pretty fucked up. Finally, let's talk about one more. I actually really wanted to talk about like 5 other classic pornos in this video, but I also want to get this out before the 2021 Valentine's Day sale is over. So, if you want some dives into the world of smut, smash that like button like Mike Ranger smashes his mom.
Oh yeah, smash it.
So anyway, one last title, and one that I think a lot of folks are either already fans of or have heard the porno connoisseurs of Vinegar Syndrome talk about plenty in the past. Fucking balls. Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls.
Anne Whitworth Chovy. Anne Chovy?
Coincidence, isn't it?
What is there to even say? This flick was directed by Bob Chin, total legend, who among many other accomplishments directed Johnny Wad, starring frequent collaborator John Holmes, who of course inspired Boogie Nights. He also stars in this film as well as plenty of other chin straps, which is what I call Bob Chin movies.
Ooh, I love it.
The plot here is so simple. You know what, Sleazy Michael? Go right ahead.
Well, thank you kindly. Our story follows John Holmes as a pizza restaurant owner who only hires the best of the best and fucks their brains out. That absolute goat of taken cock, Desiree Cousteau, plays Anne Chovy, a country girl who gets into the pizza game for the adventure and spends no time getting herself into all sorts of hairy positions. She's quick to fall in love with Inspector Blackie, a questionable character who dresses like me hanging out by the Circle K, as played by the legendary John Seaman. The girls, including Candida Royale as Gino and Lauren Dominique as Shaky and Christine Deschafer as Celeste, make the rounds delivering pizza and good times, while a gang of chicken hustlers try to shut them down, and the mysterious giant rapist, Night Chicken, prowls the streets.
Wow, that took a turn there.
Like my penis.
Okay. Anyway, what we have here is a really fun, lighthearted porno that even a weird rape plot can't hurt. Probably because said plot results in the ladies just being covered in feathers. It's a sort of a Looney Tunes rape gag, if you will.
Ooh, boy, my Pornhub search bar is gonna see some shit tonight.
Now, this is a DVD, not a Blu-ray, and so it's not as high quality as I'd like, but honestly, after the credits, it's still a really solid transfer. This is, what is this? This is a 2014 release. This is super early in Vinegar Syndrome's catalog. The source is reasonably beaten up, but it's not like distracting or ever a challenge to watch. Although I was briefly enamored by this little guy's chance of survival. Get out of the way, hair boy! Oh, that was close. Extras-wise, we get a trailer and an 11-minute informative and very mob-heavy interview with producer Damon Christian. Hey, he produced High School Fantasies and showed up on that disc. Look at that. We came full circle. We came full circle. Nothing. Okay. Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls is a charming, whimsical, silly film. It's inconsequential in its plotting, but that plot is so fun and strange that it keeps things moving at a brisk pace in between well-shot sex sequences featuring some of the best actors in the industry at the time. The pacing is very chill and never tries to create much in the way of drama or tension, instead just kind of relaxing and letting the good times roll. Beyond that, it also exists as a nostalgic time capsule of 70s California. Plus, again, it stars John Holmes and Desiree Cousteau at the height of their careers, and both get a lot to do. So yeah, the highest of recommendations for Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls. It's a jewel in the crown of 70s smut. Yeah, I can't say that any of these are bad. I would say if you really want just like the best pornography, Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls, honestly, the two classics, Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls and Taboo, are the best of the bunch. But Heavenly Desires is a lot of fun, and Frat House has some really solid fucking in it. And High School Fantasies is just a nice, silly romp. So it's kind of a mixed bag of stuff. I wouldn't say any of them are not recommended. I would say Frat House is probably the worst movie of the bunch. But even then, like, that's mostly just because it's a pretty lame, not lame, but like standard issue post Animal House comedy. So anyway, Sleazy Michael, time to pack it in.
But I'm wanted.
I don't care. Get off the feed. But look, if you get off the feed, I'll, let's see. Ooh, I'll give you this package that Toxic Rev from the Patreon sent in.
A package for me?
Yeah, it's addressed to one Sleazy Michael. It's a loot crate or something, I guess.
I'm gonna need something to open this with.
All right.
Sleazy is a free elf.
What was that?
Nothing. I'm just gonna go open this box elsewhere.
Well, go on then. Send us out on an unboxing.
All right. In my favorite spot in my entire home. The Jerk-Off Palace. Let's see what we got here. Nice loot crate from Toxic Rev. A little bonus unboxing. I don't know how to open one of these. Oh, the other way. Okay. Let's put this on the floor. Mind the stains. We've got a t-shirt. 2XL. Oh, you hurt my feelings there, Rev. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh. Sexy. Like a dress. Oh, this is smaller. What is this? Ooh, a towel. An H.P. Lovecraft towel. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna use that in this very spot very often. What else we got? Ooh, Plan 9 from Outer Space pin. Might have to give this to regular Michael for his jacket. X-Files themed notebook. Oh, it's fun. Oh, and last but not least, we've got a mug. So Michael does enjoy his coffee and other stimulants. That's pretty nifty. Ooh. I'm gonna have fun with this. Well, I've got some business to take care of. Hope you enjoyed the show. Go watch a movie.
Oh, baby.